Hey guys, it's Ben here from the Strength Factory, and no, your eyes do not deceive you. This is not a bike helmet, and today I'm going to be talking to you about running and using it as cross training for mountain biking. So I know some of you are going to get triggered by this. You're not going to like it. It's going to be like an e-bike video or something where you're going to say, running, I'm a mountain biker. I do it because I hate running, and that's fine. I'm not saying you have to run ever. In fact, it's fine with me. You can do what you like. But if you are thinking about adding running into your training or just as part of a healthy lifestyle, then I was going to run through a few things that you should probably think about and consider to help you do it safely, to help you make good progress, and to make sure you enjoy it. When we talk about running in relation to mountain biking, there's two ways to look at it. The first one being as part of a healthy lifestyle, and the second one being specifically as part of a race training program where the sole goal is to make you faster. And the two have different goals, and they've got similarities, but they are inherently different, and the considerations are different when you think about whether to go running or not as part of your program. We're going to first of all then look at the healthy lifestyle part. So you're someone like me who I do some racing, but it's not my job. I want to be fit, I want to be strong, I want to be healthy, and I want to be the best rider I can, and I do some training to achieve that. But I'm also a 40-year-old man who wants to be fit and healthy for the long run, and I feel that as a human being who's fit and strong and healthy, like I said, I should be able to go and run 5 or 10k just like that, without any training, any prep, any day of the week. I should be able to roll out the door, and just as a basic human skill, I should be able to do that and not be absolutely nailed at the end of it, okay? And at the moment, that's not the case, okay? Which is partly why I'm doing this for myself. Now, at the moment, I've ridden my bike a fair bit recently. I've also done less than normal recently because of my 6-month-old baby, and I haven't run since probably the first half of lockdown, which is about 5 or 6 months ago, and this is my first run since, and it's not even a proper run because I keep stopping to talk to you. And so that is my motivation. It's not about being a better mountain biker. My motivation is about being a better, well-rounded, fit, healthy human. Like I said earlier though, just because I think that it should be something that any human should be able to do, doesn't mean that's the case. Okay, there's no pressure. But if you do agree with my sentiment there, then yeah, doing some running regularly or sporadically I think is really positive. And I do think there's some carryover to mountain biking, okay? Now, the main caveat and the main reason why I don't think I've ever put a run in a training program is that running is inherently dangerous. Now, not in the same way as mountain biking. You're unlikely to break a leg or a collarbone or a wrist, but you are likely to pick up a knee injury, a hip or a lower back, because runners are notorious for constantly being injured. And you just have to pick up like Runner's World or go on a running blog or website, and you'll see that most runners pick up an injury running most years. And it's not an injury because they fell over, it's an injury they picked up because they're running with poor form, and they're running when maybe harder and faster than they should for their level of strength and physical preparation to do so. And guess what? If you pick up a running injury, well, you probably can't go riding. You probably can't train at the gym. And so that is why I'm always reticent to include running in a training program for a mountain biker, because I know that most of them are then going to go out, they're going to be competitive and quite driven, they're going to run a bit faster and a bit harder than maybe they should or than their ability, and then they're going to regret it, okay? And they're probably not going to have good technique, okay? So that's, I guess, the negative. But as always, if we're smart and if we're gradual, if we play the long game, then we can work around that, and running can be a really positive part of a healthy lifestyle that works with your mountain biking. If you already do some form of strength training and mobility training, hopefully one of my programs, because they're very good, then you're already ahead of the curve compared to the average runner who probably doesn't do that. And that's straight away going to put you in a better position to be robust if you go for a run. Now, when we if you do start introducing running, the first thing I'd say is just slow it down, okay? Lose the ego. What you could do 5 years ago or a year ago, last time you ran, is completely irrelevant, okay? I used to be a really good runner. I was in the army for 8 years, used to run all the time, sometimes every day of the week. But it doesn't mean I can now. I'm doing a walk run today, despite all the gym training and the fact I've been riding loads, because I know if I went and smashed myself on a 5K today, which I could make myself do that, I don't think I'd be in a very good place for the following 3 days. And check out this weather we're having. I want to ride my bike, okay? So you've got to slow things down, okay? And a great way to do that, to moderate your pace, is either to use heart rate, okay? So zone 2, okay? You know, I'm a big believer in aerobic training. And then the other thing, if you don't want to use heart rate, like today, I'm not, I want it to be unplugged, it's just to use nasal breathing. So mouth closed, only breathe through your nose, and that's going to moderate your pace, especially if you haven't run for a while, because you're going to be really inefficient, okay? And you're probably going to have to stop and walk regularly, and that's going to be a really good thing for keeping you safe and injury-free when running. The next consideration is thinking about how frequently you run and how far you run. The best way to pick up an injury running is to suddenly increase the volume, i.e. the amount of running that you do. So at the moment you do none, and now all of a sudden you want to do 3 a week. Well, I suggest that's a recipe to get injured. So let's start with 1 a week for a couple of weeks. How does my body feel? Oh, it feels all right. Okay, let's up it. Let's do 2 a week. How does it feel? Oh, it feels all right. Although, I've done it for a couple of weeks now, feeling a bit of a niggle, back it off. Okay, remember, you know, you're not training to be the fastest runner. We want to use running as part of a healthy lifestyle that works then with your mountain biking, so you become an all-round better human being, better mountain biker, everyone's happy. And that doesn't come from smashing yourself week in and week out, doing too much and getting injured. The next tip for running is try and be silent. Okay, I've talked about this in a video before during lockdown. Imagine the opening scene of Last of the Mohicans. Picture that, Daniel Day-Lewis sprinting, chasing a deer through the woods. That wants to be you, okay? But on a serious note, if you can run silently, so your feet are making really light contact on the ground as you run, then guess what? You're putting a lot less impact through your body and so on. And the best way to run silently is to keep your feet underneath you. So your foot strikes the ground beneath your hips and not out in front, okay? That is a recipe for running injury, a running disaster, and time off your bike, which we don't want. So run silent like a gazelle. So as I run down this track, my focus is mainly on having my head up, looking where I'm going, my hips underneath me, and my feet under my hips. And if I get that correct, then that's gonna keep me nice and light on my feet, and hopefully you can only just hear a little bit of gravel as I run down the trail here. The final thing I'll say about running for your average trail rider as part of a lifestyle is, I mean, this is somewhere that I could bring my bike, but I shouldn't, because it's a footpath. It's beautiful. You go a bit slower. It's great for de-stressing. You can't get a flat tire, and at the end of the run, sorry. See, I'm programmed for mountain biking. At the end of the run, maybe I've got muddy trainers, or maybe I don't. There's no bike clean. You could do this in your lunch break when you're working from home or from the office. You know, you can get out on the trails or on the streets. I'd recommend the trails, but you can't all do that. And yeah, it's just easy, it's accessible, it's cheap. You can do it with friends, you can do it with family, okay? And what a great way to unwind, whether it's sunny, rainy, haily, or whatever we've got coming up this winter. So let's talk about you racers, okay? Just to be clear, if you are really dedicated and serious about your racing, then just like British Cycling and Team Sky's programme of marginal gains, everything you should do should be to make you faster. And if running doesn't do that, then there's no point doing it. Okay, simple as that. So the first thing you've got to figure out is it going to help you be faster? Now, it's really interesting because over the last couple of years, if you have a look closely on social media, there's quite a few top riders, especially enduro riders, who do a fair bit of running around this time of year. Okay, so maybe, well, this is a weird year because people are still racing, but you know, October, November, they're having time off the bike, they're trail running, they're doing something different, and it is really interesting to see some real top athletes doing that. And they wouldn't do it if there wasn't a benefit. Now, what's the benefit from them? Number one, a bit of headspace in the intensity of racing for a living, or racing at the top level and constant training on the bike. The second thing then, apart from that headspace and just doing something different, is that your cardiovascular system, it doesn't know whether you're riding a bike, on a rowing machine, or running. Okay, it is put under stress and it adapts. Okay, now it is more nuanced than that, and as you get closer to race season, you obviously need to ride your bike, so those motor patterns, like the way you actually move, are programmed and they're just absolutely natural. But if you want to develop your heart, your lungs, your blood, your capillary beds and all of that, then actually your body doesn't know the difference. So you can do some of your base training by running. Okay, again, assuming the stuff I talked about earlier is true and you're not going to get injured. You can also do some more intense work as well, running instead of on the bike. Okay, and that's fine. Your body doesn't know the difference for those global adaptations. Okay, those general adaptations that we want early in the winter. Okay, before the training becomes more specific as we move towards the spring. The final point as we talk about mountain bike performance is the way your foot interacts with the ground, i.e., you know, hopefully your forefoot or midfoot strikes the ground, and then there's all that absorption going on. So we've got a mixture between that springiness and that stiffness, and guess what? That's exactly what we want on the pedals as we go through rough terrain as well. The only difference being that as we run is that the heel is slightly elevated, and as we ride, the heel is slightly dipped or depressed or dropped, or whatever you want to call it. Okay, but actually the physical properties that are going on are pretty similar. It's why things like skipping and plyometric work are so useful for both mountain biking, when we talk about absorbing and generating force through technical terrain, and also running, whether it's on track, on road, or off-road. Okay, the same sort of principles are underlying no matter which type of thing you're doing, even though the foot is just in a slightly different position. So there you go. That's what I think about running, and in particular trail running, okay, in relation to mountain biking. Me personally, it's mid-September and I'm going to be running every week between now and Christmas. Okay, that's what I've told myself, and I'm going to do my best to stick to that. I'm doing that not even to make myself a better mountain biker, but just I feel like it's something I've lost because I haven't given it enough attention, and I don't like the feeling that currently I'm shit at running. Okay, it just doesn't sit well with me, so I'm going to do something about it. I'm going to make time for it. I'm going to make it a priority. Okay, and for me at the moment, again, I keep going on about it, this baby at home, my baby number 2 Rex, is terrorizing us at night, and it's making it harder and harder to get proper time to go mountain biking. And guess what? To do this, I literally need half hour, 40 minutes, and I can be out here in the fields by my house, getting exercise, improving myself, keeping sane, keeping happy, and hopefully having a great time. So I'd love to hear your thoughts. Do you run a mountain bike? Do you do triathlons? Or duathlons? Or do you just hate running? Let me know in the comments, okay? And make sure you like, make sure you subscribe. And if you don't, I'm gonna make loads more running videos and stop doing the mountain bike stuff that you all subscribed for. All right, see you later.